His he's asleep. So what's the difference between the council and the board?
Same thing.
Some signs say council member and some say board member.
That was saving money. I was on the planning board before, so instead, rather than just getting a new sign, we just repurpose it.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's regularly scheduled town board meeting. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for pastor.
Father God, we come tonight and we thank you that even as we see the world in shambles and out of order, that you're a God of order. And we thank you for our rights even here today. And I thank you, Father God, that everything would be done diligently and in order and respectfully. And I thank you for this board, God, who gives their heart, God, for our community. Be with them, give them wisdom in every decision they make. And we thank you and bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. First item. Public hearing. Public hearing number 1.
Make a motion to open the public hearing on the proposed local law number 3 of 2023, titled tax cap override for FY 2024.
I'll second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Snowzuli.
Aye.
Councilmember Grant. Aye. Councilmember Potter.
Aye.
Councilmember Lux.
Aye.
Supervisor Wendell.
Aye. We'll open the floor for any comments relative to the tax cap override for fiscal year 2024. I do ask if you have comments to make, please state your name and your address. Now to your opportunity. Yes, sir.
Tom McGrath, 449 West Wayne Lake Road. I had a question last session about what the exclusions from the tax cap. And I don't know, it was torts and was the other item. We're doing
Send pension payments.
right.
That's it.
So what kind of tort, out of curiosity, what kind of torts is Waynesburg done?
Greensburg, during the time that I've been attorney here, has not had any tort claims against it that were successful.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mike Gammons, I have a camp up there on Wayne Lake Road. I was just curious, what is the projected, normally it's 2%, no more than 2% per year. So what are you projecting over that 2%?
We're going to have an increase, and I apologize, I don't have the exact percent number. What I can tell you is this: the dollar amount that we're looking at as a total, the average assessment of a home in the town is a $60,000 assessment. If you have a home with a $60,000 assessment, you're going to see the town tax increase by about $70. The biggest, by far, biggest part of the increase is as a result of the ambulance squad moving from what had been a hybrid, where they had a combination of volunteers and paid personnel, and as a result of the difficulty in obtaining and retaining volunteers, they had a third-party vendor last year that had been brought in to fill the gaps. That situation did not work out, And so now as a result, they've given us a proposal to go to a full paid ambulance service. As a result of that, that means there's a lot of benefits that come with that. First of all, they've had paid staff since May. They haven't missed a call since May. They did have missed calls prior to that. Also, now, when we had volunteers, the volunteer would respond from their home. They'd go to the ambulance squad, then they'd go to the incident. Now they'll have people full-time at the squad building. So it means a faster response, and I'd say, unless they've got 2 calls simultaneously, they've been able to bat 1,000 since May. So we took a long, hard look at it in the board, but as a general rule, the consensus from the residents has been, we want to know if we make a call for an ambulance, they're going to show up. That's where the bulk of the increase comes from. Any other comments?
Lynn
Yes.
Bruning, 13388 Twinsburg Road. Thanks for holding the public hearing. Review of the town board meeting minutes reflect that in 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, the town approved a tax cap override. And you may not want to answer my questions tonight, but I would like a written response before the next town board meeting. What percentage or dollar amount was the tax cap override for each year? Why were the funds needed each year, and what were the funds used for? Of concern is the New York State Comptroller's audits report 2002 M-206, 2011 M-253 for the town reflects serious irregularities and raise concerns on how the town manages taxpayer funds. Both audits reflect that the town will implement corrective measures. And the audit issued February 5th, 2021, New York State Comptroller Audit 2020 M-116. It shows material irregularities in 2019 and 2020 of 590,880 in revenue that was not reported, and 55,182 in expenditures that were not recorded. The accounting records cash balances were overstated by about 3 million as of December 31st, 2019. It's an unusual report. It reflects serious deficiency, and it does not appear to mention anything being done correctly. The town's corrective action plan may be found on the town's webpage, and I give you the URL. The plan's not dated, it's not signed by the supervisor, doesn't provide a stamp showing it was received by the town clerk. What is the name of the current accounting firm reviewing the town's accounting and financial proceedings? Who is the internal employee who prepares the 2-step bank reconciliation process? Is there an audit or oversight of the accounting firm's work? And has there been an audit of the town's finances since 2019? And if so, who performed it and when was it done? A report's only as good as the validity of the information behind it. And how are the taxpayers assured that the town is managing the town's finances in accordance with the New York State Comptroller's recommendations, and thus able to trust this tax cap override is indeed required? And I do look forward
that
They had BS&T for, I think it was 2 years, and now they have Sampson and Weston and Sampson.
West and Company
Weston
is
Company.
now the third-party CPA. I'll also mention at the time that audit was done, there were no improprieties found. There was nobody with sticky fingers, for lack of a better way to put it. It was sloppy record keeping, and it was record keeping that was not in compliance with the protocol of the comptroller's office.
Thank you.
Also, the sewer district, the sewer projects are only paid for by the people that live in the sewer districts. They're not paid for by everybody in town. So, I think that's very cool.
That's right.
Anybody else?
Make a motion to close the public hearing on proposed local law number 3, 2023, entitled tax cap override for fiscal year 2024.
One second. Any discussion? Clerk call roll, please.
Councilmember Santori.
Aye.
Councilmember Laux.
Aye.
Member Potter. Aye. Councilmember Grant. Aye. Supervisor Lennon.
Aye.
Proposed local law number 4, 2023. Opening of the public hearing entitled local law to amend the Waynesburg zoning ordinance required subject prior to the transfer of ownership to the Plain zoning lake district.
I'll second.
Clerk call roll, please.
Councilmember.
I'm sorry. I'm thrown off here. We will open the public hearing, and again, I ask if anyone wants to speak. Just please state your name and your address. Yeah, yes, sir, Mr. Knight.
Thank you. I'd like to make just a few introductory comments on behalf of the Duane Lake Association, since we were the ones who promoted this and asked for it in the first place. So my name is Alan Knight. I live at 1399 West Duane Lake Road. The Duane Lake Association holds the deed for Duane Lake and acts as a steward of the lake for the benefit of everyone around the lake and the 50,000 people downstream who rely upon the water use reservoir. For the past several years, the Duane Lake Association has been sending out newsletters and holding meetings to help our neighbors there consider 4 alternative ways of keeping septic effluent out of the lake. Everyone around the lake, not just members, was invited to vote, and over 70% did. The strongest consensus was that doing nothing was not an option. We are here tonight to discuss a proposal signed onto by 77 voting age residents around the lake. This is a course of action a very large majority agreed upon, but it's an action only this town board can take. And we commend the town board for giving it serious consideration, and to the town attorney for writing it, I assume. Thank you. I have received a couple of suggestions, one of which I think will be addressed, was already been addressed in a reread of your proposed draft. But one that came to my attention that seems to make some sense is that perhaps septic systems installed and improved in the past 5 years could be exempted. Seems to make sense. While the Duane Lake Association has promoted this amendment to the zoning rules for Duane Lake, it has also been working for the past 5 years to have the Schenectady County Legislature enroll in the New York State Septic Replacement Program. I am pleased to inform the town board that this has now happened just this past week. I can read to you, it's very brief, a letter from Anthony Jasinski, the chairman of the Schenectady County Legislature. It is addressed to the president and chief executive officer of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation. Dear Ms. Colvin, pursuant to New York State Public Authorities Law 128.5-U, please accept this letter as notice that the county of Schenectady is seeking authority to administer a septic replacement program within its municipal boundaries and agrees to abide by the program goals, guidelines, eligibility requirements, and reimbursement procedures, and provide information to property owners regarding program parameters, including eligibility criteria. That's taken straight from the law. That's why he worded that way. Please feel free to contact my office if you have any questions or require additional information. Sincerely, Anthony Jasinski, Sr., Chairman. If there are no further roadblocks to this, this means that anyone around Duane Lake who replaces his or her septic system will receive a 50% reimbursement up to $10,000. This would greatly ease any financial burden for anyone required by the zoning ordinance amendment to replace their septic system. In closing, I'd like to address the question of free market solutions and liberty. Since 1927, Duane Lake septic systems have been governed, or perhaps ungoverned, by the free market. Anyone who takes a walk around the lake in late February and breathes in the fresh air encounters the smell of septic effluent at least some properties. Obviously, the free market has failed us in some cases. The fundamental role of government is to protect the safety of its citizens. That's why we have laws. That's why we have speed limits and weight limits on bridges. That's why we have mandatory inspection of cars and trucks. And that's why we need the inspection of septic systems. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Ken Spink, I live at 307 West Duane Lake Road, and I object to this. As I had said last time, let the fair market take care of it. It's way better than government intervention. Typically, the buyer's attorney tells the seller's attorney after an inspection, get it taken care of. If they don't have the money, they put money in escrow from the sale of the property, it gets taken care of. With your law, that's not gonna happen. The buyer's attorney is gonna tell the seller's attorney, take care of it. They're gonna say, we don't have the money. Because of your law, they're not gonna be able to close. Title insurance is not gonna provide title. They're not gonna get a mortgage. Almost no attorney in the area is gonna allow somebody to close in this situation. And 30 days later, your building inspector is gonna kick the people out of the house, just making their problems worse. So hopefully, I buy and sell houses for a living. Hopefully, when the realtors or the attorneys find out they have this kind of a problem, they're gonna call me. I'll wind up buying the house. I'll slap in a new system all legit before anybody knows it even happened, and I'll sell the house. But when I'm the only guy in town that'll buy the house, I'm not paying full price. And nobody else that does what I do would pay anywhere near a fair price. So this is just gonna exacerbate the problem, and the answer over here, more government intervention with this Schenectady County, that's not gonna do anything. That's a reimbursement after the fact. I mean, somebody has to do it first. More government intervention in our lives is not the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comments? Yes, ma'am.
Nancy Weiss, 236 Duane Lake Road. Firstly, I'd like to just have some clarification of what we're talking about here. It's my understanding that the presence of E. coli in Duane Lake has never been proven. Last summer, there's a college student who was doing some studies, and she took a sample of Duane Lake and she thought it might be E. coli, but she sent it away. And my understanding is, per our report on our annual meeting, was that the results were inconclusive. In my many years of being on the board dealing with Duane Lake, we tested many times for E. coli and it was never found. So I just don't want you to walk away with the impression that Duane Lake is a cesspool of E. coli, because it's not. There may be some septics that are leaking in. That's another concern of mine, because if we smell them, what proof do we have? We're going to be doing all of this, investing all this money and perhaps, in negative situations, and we don't really have proof. I don't have an answer about how you do that, how you approach people, but that concerns me that we're doing this and we don't have proof. There is another issue of homes that have been in the family for years. Septics are original, 1950s, maybe earlier. We know they probably don't even exist. They get transferred from family member to family member, and the septics are just, I'm sure, not existent. I don't know, again, how we manage that, but if we're going to be going through this process and this kind of situation is going to slip through, still polluting Duane Lake, how do we handle that? I'm gonna let you guys maybe think about that and maybe get back to us, because we don't have an answer. We can't go knock on their door. Someone's allowed to get hurt. So how do we do that? Because I think that if we're gonna spend this money, if we're gonna invest this time and energy, then everyone should have the pleasure of participating. To be sure, my husband and I do not disagree with this. We would do this voluntarily. If we were to sell our house tomorrow, we would just simply have our septic inspected. That we understand the importance of that. However, I have some concerns with the process. Have you ever done this before for any community?
We as a board, this is the only time we've faced this. So
Okay.
this is on new ground. We asked for input from the town attorney for how a law should be structured for this.
Okay. Let's see, so. Regarding section 7 of the proposed. New zoning law, it says, and I know you've sort of addressed my issues here, but. Failed septic requirements, said property owner has 30 days to repair, replace septic system, or the CO will be revoked. Don't you think that's a bit harsh? 30 days, and I know you said that you could have a extension. Now I see that in here, but 30 days to do that, and then to threaten to revoke the CO of a house before there's even been a crime done, just seems a bit harsh to me. You're going to put people out of their house if it's not done in 30 days. I did some research on my own. I called 10 different septic replacement businesses, and all of them, well, 3 didn't call me back, but the ones that did call me back said that that is an unreasonable timeline to expect to get a septic with permits, with an engineer's approval, done in 30 days. They said it's very unlikely. 2 of them said to me, we are scheduling out until springtime. 5 of them said that they couldn't even come until the end of November or December to do an inspection. So 30 days was out to have a septic done if you were to do it now. 3 didn't call me back. Only 2 were licensed as you have it printed in this proposed law. And I'm wondering why we can't just have regular approved septic people, businesses who do this for a living. Why do they have to be licensed by the state, licensed in NCON? There are other people who have businesses who are reputable, who know what they're doing, could replace a septic system. And then we don't have to go through all of that. These people are not very available. I only found 1 or 2 that were licensed with NCON. So that concerns me that we're going to be out here on our own, having to negotiate this and answer to you guys. That's how I feel about it. The quotes that I got from these people for inspection right now were $650, $725, $875. That's different than the $300 that we were quoted when we already showed contact about this. So that, and I'm sure that'll just get more as time goes on. There are any number of different problems that could occur to hold up the process of getting this septic in. It could be anything from, and people told me also that you can't count on what time frame you'll have to get your permits from DOH, from NCON, for your licensed personnel to be available to review this, to see this, and to approve it. So I'm just asking, with this in mind, if you would extend this to 60 days, 90 days, and then we wouldn't have to maybe have an extension. People could have more of a relaxed process in doing this. And it would be less stressful on the people of Dwayne Lake and doable for the residents. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Chris Miller, 1019 West Dwayne Lake Road. When my husband Art and I bought our home 10 years ago, the septic I can't speak up because I'm at home. The septic inspection involved the guy looking down the hole with a flashlight and saying, "No, it's fine." We bought our house in November. The following spring, the septic was failing. So that is not a qualified septic inspection. And that's why we are asking for this higher quality professional to do a thorough inspection. It's needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Tom McGrath again. I'm on Dwayne Lake, or West Dwayne Lake Road, about the lake itself and I'm in support of this. I think one way to think about it is that the lake is a shared asset. Everybody who's on the lake benefits from it. If you don't use it for water or boating or swimming, you still benefit from the enhanced value of the property. So everyone benefits from it, and everyone, I think, should take certainly some responsibility for maintaining it. Think of a worst case scenario where everyone's septic was failing and the lake essentially became a leach field, whether it has E. coli or not, which they foul. And I think the town of Williamsburg will within its rights to protect both itself and people on the lake from creating some type of, non-compliant wet fee if there was such a thing. But I think it's a shared asset. We all benefit from it. We should all take some responsibility for the town within its rights to that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Evans on 564 Lane Lake Road. Regarding government intervention was mentioned. If the government is ever going to intervene in any kind of regulation, it should be for the health and safety of the citizens of that government. In addition to that, I'm in favor of this in full, except I would agree that section 7 should be amended to 90 days.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mike Ammons, 336, Dwayne Lake Road. I'm not too sure when the change of ownership, is that the actual sale, the deed on that, or the clarification in regards whoever the new owners are, they gotta make sure everything's up to par in this, or can I transfer it to my kid and no problem?
Would you like to clarify?
Yeah, the law currently does not distinguish between sale, transfer, and leaving it to your children. It would apply to that.
It would apply.
Yeah, it would apply, yeah.
I was just curious, and in the way everybody can be in compliance by looking at the deeds, coming through the county or whatever. And then, hey, they gotta have a certificate for the septic system.
That's right, and the town would have to, in addition to doing what the town typically does to let people know about new local laws, we would obviously have to send it to the real estate agents in the area and and of course, the Dwayne Lake Association would need to publicize it as well internally, so.
I just wanna make sure that the information comes out there before somebody wants to buy some real estate, make sure, all parties are involved in this. Okay.
Thank you. Sir.
So that being the case, foreclosures, mortgage foreclosures, and tax foreclosures, how do you expect the bank or the county to go on property before they actually do the foreclosure when they had no right to go on the property to do an inspection, if that's what you really expect to happen?
So sales and foreclosure are as is, where is, and that's set up by state law. So under those circumstances, it's gonna be much more difficult to enforce this.
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, I think you're painting yourselves into a corner.
I don't think we're painted into a corner because foreclosure notices are all published in the newspaper. And so if someone comes in, as apparently you do, and buy property under foreclosure, then we're gonna be aware of that and we'll be going to the new property owner who bought it as is, where is, and asking them to give us a septic inspection.
If I may, just one small point of correction. I myself have taken water samples from Dwayne Lake and had them separated. As part of the regular process that we have in Dwayne Lake. We've had 35 years of data on Dwayne Lake for the citizens statewide lake assessment program, CSLAP. The water samples I've taken have proven positive for E. coli, but just not human source. They haven't defined it down to that level. I have water samples test positive for E. coli. And the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation in those annual CSLAP reports does attribute the problems to failing septic systems.
Any other comments?
I have a question on the wording, Bill Hayden, Colony at 1217 West Dwayne Lake, says prior to transfer. Maybe I didn't read it in here, but it doesn't say how long prior to transfer. So I could have one done tomorrow, filed away, and when we transfer, I can just hand it to you. Am I wrong on that?
You mean how long? before
Yes,
the
it says prior to
transfer?
transfer of ownership of any real property, how far before? I could get one done tomorrow and sell the house 10 years from now and say, here's my inspection, it's good. There's nowhere here does it say that.
Good point. We'll have to
I might
define
be
that.
sorry, but.
That's why we want public comment. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, if you could do a 90-day before the sale, whatever time frame, which is kind of open there.
Okay, that's a good point.
And on the other end, if we could do a 90-day, 120-day, whatever is a reasonable amount,
Yeah.
that makes good sense.
I don't see any problem with switching the 30-day to 90-day. The weather's not exactly conducive for half of the year.
Not in January.
Yeah.
Anybody else? That's good.
MJ Tansman, 1043 West Dwayne Lake Road. This is my and my family's 40th year living on Dwayne Lake. And kids grew up there. We've just, we love it today. We loved it every minute of those 40 years. And it has to do with the lake. And having been a past board member of the association, we have been after some solutions for decades. This has been going on, our conversations have been going on. We have been trying to find ways to improve this problem. And this is one way that we've come up with that is the beginning of a solution, a way to suss out some systems that need to be replaced. And we haven't been able to come up with any other way in order to make that happen. And so I'm speaking in favor of passing this law.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I bought my property on Dwayne Lake in 1988. And it had a 300-gallon steel round tank. And it had one, I was going to call it a leach pipe, but it was just a pipe running out 30 feet, maybe 40 feet, no leach field. When I called in somebody to take a look at it, the top of it caved in into that tank. And we temporarily replaced it, the top. And since then, I had, with a approval of your building inspector, had a new system put in. I cite that as an example of how the property was sold and bought by me, knowingly by me, that it was going to need replacement. But it was with ease that terrible septic system went from one owner to the next. And that's not good for the safety and health of the people of our community.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm Kathleen O'Brien. I'm at 1424 West Dwayne Lake Road. I see that there's a letter included that Sonia Mull of the Hill wanted to have read with a public record, or that would get acknowledged by the record. May I do so, or do we want to do that? Go ahead. Okay. To all members of the Waynesburg Town Board, unfortunately, I am unable to attend the October 26th meeting of the Town Board. However, I would like to voice my support in favor of the septic resolution for Dwayne Lake. It is important that a thorough inspection of the system, condition of the tank, etc., not cursory inspection, yep, here's a septic, of a home septic system take place at the time of transfer of ownership. A complete septic inspection and timely remediation of any issues are the goals regardless of who pays for the improvement. And why do I feel so strongly about this issue? Septic tanks, like any other aspect of a home, are not designed to last indefinitely. At some point, they will require updates, repair, replacement. This inspection just helps to ensure that any potential issues do not go undetected. Many residents of Duane Lake use the lake for drinking water. No one should have to drink contaminated water, filter or not. Fresh, clean water should be a concern for every citizen in the town of Duanesburg. When the lake water is high, it overflows and exits through a culvert and then eventually becomes part of the watershed or a nearby reservoir. The pollution caused by faulty septic systems is not limited to Duane Lake, but extends far into the community. Contaminated water does not remain confined to one small area. At a recent meeting, one resident felt that this law would violate his property rights. It should be clear that one's property's rights do not extend to polluting the fresh water of his neighbors. Yes, this resolution is not a cure for the excess phosphorus and nitrogen present in the lake. However, it is one piece of the puzzle. This is a non-invasive measure that could help improve the quality of the water of the Duanesburg area. Thank you for your consideration, Sonia Mullaville. And so I just want to make sure that I put into public record. And speaking for myself, I'm in support of this resolution. And I agree that 90 days or whatever extension of days would vastly improve it and would be less stressful for the transfer of property. And I really appreciate bringing that to light. Thank you.
Carol, did you receive a hard copy of that?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so you've got it for the record. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I need to do this. You just said you opened 3 new sewer districts in Duanesburg, right?
There are 3
Recently.
districts. Well, it's not recently.
Well, then that,
Yes, there are
why
3.
did you do that?
A lot of that predated me. I'll ask either Rick or Teresa if you want to address that.
Why did you just leave it like it was?
Well, Duanesburg, I mean,
I'm assuming they were failing sewer
failing
systems.
septic, yeah.
Okay, so we're in the same spot.
Maryville, I mean, I don't know how many were failing, but we were able to get that approved, you know, through the state, so we did it. Which we would have done yours too, but we didn't get that.
I'm good to agree. I got you there. So it's exactly the same situation. Failing sewer, failing septic systems, you have to do something. Yeah, this is the cheapest, easiest way for the town, because it's literally 0 cost to you.
Yeah, I know Delaware Engineering had done a study, and I'm sure you're familiar with what they had proposed a few years ago. And community septic system, and the residents around the lake were not in favor of that. And my understanding was with the cost. And as we all know, over the past few years, we know that costs just continue to escalate all the time.
So this is 0 cost to the town, because the homeowners will pay for it through inspections and repairs. How about the other side of the street? That are up on top of the hill on the south side, and their septics might be going out the back towards every turnpike. Are they gonna be required to do this also?
This is only within the Lake 2 zoning district.
Okay.
So
I'm not familiar with that, is that the other side of the hill?
if you come up afterwards, you can see
Okay, all right,
where that
okay.
is.
Okay, all right. I didn't think it'd be fair to them. Their septics were going the other way, they have to worry about the right side. Right.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
We think about the septics that, Alan says he knows are failing. We don't have an identification of who they are. But this is gonna be by attrition, as people turn over their property as, you know, people die or need to move out or whatever. But some of these septics that actually may be leaking in and causing a problem, maybe years yet. And that's kind of where I have a problem with, you know, just the process of it. They will still continue, you know, to pollute. So I don't know the answer to that, but it just seems we're still gonna be going through this and those may be there for many, many years. Is there anything that's ever been done about contacting people about their septics or, you know, someone of not of a neighbor, but it's going to just still continue if they are not moving anytime soon. Just a thought.
We have contacted the engineer that has been instrumental in the other three sewer districts for us. And they have much more ready information as to grant money, et cetera, than we do. And we do contact him on a fairly regular basis, and we've had no encouragement whatsoever. Matter of fact, the encouragement has gone the other way as of late, not in that direction. So it's not a case that we haven't asked. You know, nothing, I think I'll speak for everybody here, nothing would make us happier than to find out that there was money available to do this at a price that made sense, but unfortunately that has not been the case. Anybody else? Yes.
The other question I'd like to know about, if you do a public, you know, a septic system, why not have just tanks in the ground, so you pump them out every quarter, every 3 months, or whatever the case may be? I know there's some lakes that are doing that now across the river, you know, instead of having a whole new TransDAP system put in. So that might be another alternative, you know, just put, you know, 1,500 gallon tank down there, or 200, or 2 of them, and that way you just pump them out, you know, every 6 months or every 4 months, or whatever the criteria might count for.
Yeah, I believe, though, that type of system is not approved by the New York State Department of Health. So that's not available to people in the area that have septic systems there.
Chris Miller again. Just wanted to mention. I think it was stated in Sonia's letter and it was stated last meeting that this is just a step forward. We're hoping to make some progress in protecting the water of the Duane Lake. And the reason we are pushing this particular process so strongly is because this was the process that was selected by the majority of those that live on the lake, on the property owners. So that's why we are pushing it so hard, because the majority said, yes, this is what we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
My name is Jose Flores. I live at 433 W Duane Lake, well, Duanesburg. I'm in favor of clean water, and I'm in favor of keeping the lake clean. And I'm in favor of this proposal. It's a way of preventing people coming in and buy houses with cash, and now going through the process of the inspection. So this is a way of keeping the sales going and the inspection being done properly. I'm in favor of it.
Thank you. Anyone else before we move on here? I'll ask this question, do we want to keep this open at this juncture? I think we should do that because we do have opinions on a couple sides. You want to keep this open?
Yes, very. Need a motion?
Motion to continue.
Yeah, let's keep.
I'll make the motion to continue the public hearing.
A second. Clerk call roll, please.
Councilmember Santucci.
Aye.
Councilmember Love.
Aye.
Councilmember Ty.
Aye.
Councilmember Cohen. Supervisor Munson.
Aye. I want to thank everybody for their
Just curious, what does that mean, keep it open?
It means that there'll be another opportunity for,
Can we, I mean, any idea how long down the road that would be?
Well, let me just address, when you have a local law, if there are substantive changes to it, you need to continue the public hearing to give people an opportunity to comment on those changes, like the 90 days and the other suggestions that were made. So it'll stay open, they'll be posted on the website, a new version of the local law, and it's continued from meeting to meeting. So it's not putting it off indefinitely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for their input. Before we move on with the rest of the meeting, we'll afford the opportunity. If there's any folks here that don't want to stay for the balance of the meeting, you're certainly welcome to leave this time. And if you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay.
Thank you.
We won't take this personally if we don't leave.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll go home. Very poignant on first place.
Yes. Been working on it. Yes, thank you so much.
Sorry, what are you gonna discuss? This is it?
We have approval of minutes, we have a supervisory report, and then we have reports for the different committees. And then we're gonna have a vote on the tax override, and then we'll have privilege of the floor. Okay. As I said, you're welcome to stay, like. And we won't take it personally if you want to leave.
Thank you.
Okay.
We have a microphone problem there. You're not picking anything up.
No.
I'm asking a question.
No, that's why I came here, because,
Oh.
I mean, you unmuted. However, it wasn't picking up the microphones on the tables. So all I heard was Supervisor Wenzel whispering.
Oh.
And my speaker, my volume was at 100. So no offense, I'm not used to listening to you whisper. I wasn't following the conversation effectively.
And the microphone's on? Well, that one is on up there from the camera, and then that one should have been on here as well. This.
Turned it up.
Okay.
Let's connect it right here. Back connected.
Yeah, that's gonna do this.
I just came up and came over.
That's saying it's recording, see, or you see, I don't know.
Well, that's.
Mayor, I know there's no input from those on Zoom. It's there for listen only, if I remember correctly. Our last conversation, so I thought I would just listen. But I do, you have the lake, where Dwayne Lake discussion, so.
Okay, that's true. It says it's picking up your voice, so.
Maybe we have those hooked up.
It says Zoom meeting is using your microphone too.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
You know, I would really recommend a difference.
Picking up when.
Picking up line.
Thankfully, I was 2 miles away.
Thank you.
You can't hear us from 2 miles away.
I've heard Diane from that far away, just not this.
Okay, why don't we move
All right.
along here?
Motion to approve the minutes for the meeting Thursday, October 12th, 2023.
Any discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Grant,
Aye.
Councilmember Potter,
Aye.
Councilmember Santuli,
Abstain.
Councilmember Lux,
Abstain.
and Supervisor Wenzel.
Aye. Supervisors report for the month of September. Revenues, general fund, $29,830.24. Highway fund, $602.74. Sewer district number 1, $7.08. Sewer district number 2, $470.87. Sewer district number 3, $12.15, total revenues $30,823.48. Disbursements, general fund, $78,304.03, highway fund, $38,726.23. Sewer district number 1, $14,894.21. Sewer district number 2, $11,401.93. Sewer district number 3, $4,291.66. Total disbursements, $147,618.06. Payment of claims.
Payment of claims, general fund A, $25,841.22. General OVB, $873.61. DA fund, highway fund, $1,049.36. Highway OVDB, $1,482.48. Lighting district number 1, $53.49. Lighting district number 2, $140.40. Lighting district number 3, $94.77. Sewer district number 1, $5,701.10. Sewer district number 2, $3,041.51. Sewer district number 3, $2,275.20. Total transfers, $40,553.14.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Council Member Potter,
Aye.
Council Member Grant,
Aye.
Council Member Santuli.
Aye.
Council Member Lux.
Aye.
Supervisor Wenzel.
Aye. All right, committee reports. Bill, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, in another week or so, we'll have our roads back together that. It's saying sustained some damage, 5-inch rainfall, a couple centers, we finished our second round of mowing, so earlier this week. Put things back together, trying to. Get ready for winter.
Done away.
Yeah. If we don't get any more rain. That's not it, is that? No.
Safety. And you got anything for me?
I have nothing.
Nor do I, and I do not have anything for parks either. We did not have a parks meeting in October because of schedule conflicts and the fact that just after the summer, things were quiet anyhow. We will be having a parks meeting in November. Andy, you got anything for us on sewer?
Nothing for sewer.
Okay. And
Same Friday.
we don't have Bill Brown on there. So,
No.
Bill would have to call in at this juncture, so. Mike, we got anything on IT?
Nothing for IT.
Okay. Yeah, we're in a hold pattern with the broadband, you know that. We're waiting and waiting and waiting and trying to get some resolve on those issues and try to find some funding to get the rest of that work done. Okay, move on to the business meeting.
Motion to adopt local law number 2 of 2023 and federal tax cap override for fiscal year 2024. Whereas local law number 2 of 2023 entitled tax cap override for fiscal year 2024, the proposed local law will allow the town of Twinsburg to override the limit on the amount of real property taxes that may be levied pursuant to general municipal law 3-C and allow the town of Twinsburg to adopt a town budget for fiscal year 2024 that requires a tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit. And whereas the proposed local law was introduced at the meeting of October 12th, 2023 of the town board, and each member of the town board received the proposed local law. And whereas a public hearing was duly noted and held on October 26th, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts local law number 2 of 2023 and directs that the local law be filed in the town clerk's office with the New York State Secretary of State's office.
So there's just one correction, it's local law number 3. I believe what local law number 1 was the solar law, and there was a local law number 2 as well that was adopted just a few weeks ago, so whichever it is, we'll make sure it's the right number, but I do believe it's local law number 3.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Graham,
Aye.
Councilmember Potter,
Aye.
Councilmember Santilli,
Aye.
Councilmember Lux,
Aye.
Supervisor Duncan.
Aye. Okay, anybody got anything else before we go to the privilege of the floor? Okay. For the privilege of the floor, it's open at this time. Like to make any comments?
For the record, Lynn Bruning, 13388, Lynchburg Road. I request that my written statements provided to the, as provided to the town clerk is included in the minutes. The town's website URL for the town clerk informs that the town clerk services include freedom of information requests. Between April 2021 and June 2023, I submitted at least 5 information appeals to the Duanesburg town clerk. My email records indicate that the town clerk acknowledged receipt of some appeals, responded to some appeals, and yielded documents for some appeals. New York State Public Officers, Article 6, Law Section 89.4A states, in addition, each agency shall immediately forward to the Committee on Open Government a copy of such appeal when received by the agency and the ensuing determination thereon. And I give you the URL. For the town clerk's convenience, each of my freedom of information appeals included this section of New York State law. Sorry. On July 2023, I submitted a freedom of information request to the New York State Committee on Open Government for all appeals of freedom of information to the town of Duanesburg between January 1, 2019 and July 21, 2023. On July 25th, 2023, the New York State Committee on Open Government informed me that they do not have any records of appeals for freedom of information to the town of Duanesburg for the dates requested. It appears that the town is not compliant with New York State law. Is the town clerk responsible for submitting the required information to the state? Does the town require confirmation of receipt from the state? Does someone within the town direct the town clerk on how to respond to freedom of information appeals? And is the town attorney involved with the response of freedom of information appeals? I request that the town board provide clarification in writing on how the town answers freedom of information appeals and how the town submits this information to the New York State Committee on Open Government so that the town is compliant with state law. I emailed the town clerk and CC town board members, planning board chair and zoning board chair, the attached correspondence. I did not receive confirmation of receipt of the emails as requested from the town clerk. These emails contain important information about Oak Hill Solar that should be on the record. I respectfully request that the documents be entered into the record of tonight's town board meeting. The correspondence was October 9, 2023, the emergency plan and notification for battery energy storage systems at Oak Hill Solar. October 19, 2023, clarification requested for the power source of the tracking panel motors at Oak Hill Solar. October 19th, 2023, Shetler's bankruptcy proceedings. That's the maker of the tracking system that fell. October 20th, 2023, Oak Hill Solar 1 and Oak Hill Solar 2 emergency plan for battery failure. In the October 19th, 2023 clarification requested of the tracking panel motors and the October 19th Shetler bankruptcy proceedings. I requested a written reply from the board and I have not received a reply. I have a copy of the letters. And finally, I request that the town planning board and zoning board meeting minutes include a section for correspondence. It may simply list the date, author, and topic of correspondence submitted to each board. Including a correspondence section in the meeting minutes may improve the town's transparency and accountability to the taxpayers, may increase communication and build trust between the board and the taxpayers, increase the accuracy of freedom of information requests, assist the town in avoiding costly and unnecessary litigation, and allow the board to record public comment when the taxpayers are unable to attend meetings. And I strongly encourage, the town board, planning board, and zoning board to include communications in the meeting minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Roll call.
Um. Councilmember Potter,
Aye.
Councilmember Lux,
Aye.
Councilmember Grant. Councilmember Sanchuli.
Aye.
And Supervisor Wendell.
Aye. And we have an executive session, and I will make a motion that we now go into executive session.
Why wasn't that recorded in the meeting minutes that they're going through executive session?
This is oversight.
Thank you.
Well, we'll have to unadjourn then.
Yeah.
So.
Screw that up.
That's not great.
Make motion to restart our meeting
There you go.
and don't think it's that one too. Okay.
Okay, Councilmember Potter,
Aye.
Councilmember Lux,
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchuli.
Aye.
Councilmember Grant. Supervisor Wendell.
Aye.
And so you want to make a motion to go into executive session to get advice of counsel on something? Is that what you're looking for,
That
Bill?
was my understanding. We want to go into executive, make a motion to go into executive session for some advice from council on a couple of items.
Okay. And what the plan is not to make any decisions or, you know, if there's anything, it would be deferred to the next meeting, right? Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that's clear for the record.
I'll second that.
Okay, Supervisor Wenzel.
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchuli.
Aye.
Councilmember Grant. Councilmember Lux.
Aye.
And Councilmember Potter.
No, but fun.
Next meeting.
Executive session, you got something.
Yeah, you gotta shut it off.
Yeah.